Dear Leo, your radiant fire has drawn you here for a reason, and I want to begin with a truth you cannot ignore. There is a secret enemy moving in the shadows, and even more shocking is that someone has paid, invested, or exchanged energy with the sole purpose of seeing you stumble. This is not a coincidence. It is a carefully laid plan aimed at your vulnerabilities, your trust, and your heart. But before fear takes root, let me remind you, you are not alone, and you have never been unprotected. Welcome to Eternal Mindfulness, a space where astrology, tarot, cosmic energy, and the wisdom of divine law come together to awaken the truth that your soul has been waiting for. Your arrival here is not random chance. It is synchronicity. It is destiny calling you to listen carefully, because the universe has chosen this exact moment to reveal something crucial. If you are watching this video, it means that the veil is lifting and that what has been hidden is ready to be brought into the light. For days now, the cosmic energy surrounding you has whispered warnings. There is a force working against you, not because of anything you have done wrong, but because your light shines too brightly. Your strength, loyalty, and unwavering heart expose the chaos of others. Instead of rising to heal their own wounds, they have chosen to target you. This person is not far away, they are not a stranger. They are someone you once trusted deeply, someone you may have confided in, shared dreams with, and leaned on in the past. That trust became the open door for instability to enter. Yet what they cannot control, what no one can ever control, is the shield of protection that has always surrounded you. At the very moments you felt hesitation, when a deal fell apart at the last minute, when an opportunity seemed to slip away, you were being saved. This was not failure, it was intervention. The guardian who has stood between you and the unseen dangers is Archangel Michael, the warrior of light. He has been guiding your steps, ensuring that every arrow sent your way misses its target, and that you are never left to fight battles in the dark by yourself. Think about the times when your intuition pulled you back from a decision, when something inside urged you not to move forward even though logic said yes. That was not doubt, it was divine protection. In spiritual law, delays are often miracles in disguise. When doors close, they do so to keep you from walking into harm. Your role now is to trust these signs more deeply, to listen to the compass of your soul without second-guessing. This message is not here to instill fear, but to empower you. You are being asked to create stronger boundaries, to release the weight of betrayal without carrying hatred, and to step into the next chapter of your life with courage. Take a deep breath and place your hand over your heart. Acknowledge what you already know inside, that you see the truth, that you forgive, and that you choose to move forward on solid ground. This is not weakness, it is the greatest strength of all. As you hear these words, I want to pause and offer gratitude. Thank you for your presence here, for the way you engage, for every like, every comment, every subscription. Your support is not just a gesture, it is the very energy that allows messages like this to reach souls across the world who are waiting for confirmation, waiting for healing, waiting for hope. And I encourage you now, as you listen, to leave a comment below affirming your connection. Write something simple, like I claim my protection or I choose to step forward. This act is not just interaction, it is an energetic agreement with the truth you are stepping into today. Leo, I urge you to stay with me until the very end of this video, because what the universe is about to reveal will not only shock you with its accuracy, it will free you. You are about to see why the enemy's attempt has failed, why the energy directed against you is returning to where it came from, and why you are rising stronger than ever. Remember, the path of faith is not about avoiding challenges, but about trusting that you are protected through them. And today, that protection is shining brighter than ever over your life. Leo, your very essence carries the vibration of light, pride, and a heart that gives without hesitation. This is why, no matter where you go, your presence is felt before a single word is spoken. It is the warmth of the sun, your ruling star, radiating through you. But light does more than illuminate, it reveals. Imagine a blazing torch held high in a cave. Suddenly, shadows that were once invisible scurry into view. This is what your energy does. Your flame shines so brightly that those hiding in their own darkness are forced to confront what they would rather keep hidden. And instead of embracing their own healing, some project envy or resentment toward you. This is not because you are wrong, but precisely because you are right in living authentically. In the tarot, you are reflected in cards like the sun and strength. The sun is not just about joy, it is about the clarity that burns away illusion. Strength is not simply brute force, it is the quiet courage to tame the lion within, the resilience to face adversity without becoming hardened by it. Together, these archetypes show that your life path is about holding steady in your truth even when others are shaken by it. Many cannot endure the honesty that your existence represents. They see your persistence, your loyalty, and your ability to rise, and it unsettles them. They look at you and are reminded of the work they have not yet done on themselves. From the perspective of self-help and energy alignment, it's vital to understand that their reaction has nothing to do with your worth. Envy is never a reflection of failure, and the person who is envied at is a mirror held up to the one who cannot yet accept their own reflection. The law of attraction teaches us that what we resist magnifies. When others resist your glow, they amplify their own sense of lack. And because your presence challenges them to face that lack, some will attempt to diminish you instead of rising with you. This is why you must remember, Leo, that it is not your role to dim your light so others feel comfortable. You are not meant to hide your flame. You are meant to be the flame that reminds others that light exists. Think of your life in the way the seasons cycle. The sun rises without asking permission, even on cloudy days. Sometimes the world resists that light, but the sun never apologizes for shining. Your soul is like that. You have walked through situations where your loyalty was questioned, where your generosity was met with silence or manipulation, and you may have been tempted to believe that you were too much or not enough. But the truth is, your fire is precisely what keeps others warm even when they cannot admit it. In everyday life, this awareness becomes a shield. When you walk into a room and sense tension, recognize it for what it isn't a judgment against you, but a struggle within them. When opportunities stall or when relationships falter, ask yourself, am I being asked to shrink, or am I being asked to step fully into who I am? This question alone can reset your focus. Because every moment you choose authenticity over fear, you strengthen your foundation. Every moment you refuse to internalize the projections of others, you become unshakable. And in moments when doubt creeps in, return to your breath and remind yourself, I did not cause their darkness. I did not create their chaos. I am only responsible for my own flame. This is the spiritual discipline of Leo, not to conquer others, but to master yourself. Just as therapy encourages us to separate our identity from the reactions of others, so too must you create that separation in your energy. It is an act of compassion for yourself. You are called to remember that even when others resist you, the universe supports you. The cosmos itself depends on the sun to sustain life, and in the same way, the lives of those around you are touched, knowingly or not, by your fire. You will always attract both admiration and resistance, because true light always does. But your strength is not in silencing that resistance, it is in continuing to shine despite it. This is your gift, and it is your challenge. And the more you accept that this path is yours alone, the freer you become to walk it without apology. Leo, when we step into the realm of hidden enemies, we are not speaking about strangers on the outside. Often, the real weight comes from those who once stood within your circle of trust, friends you confided in, family you leaned on, or partners you once believed would guard your dreams. What makes this truth piercing is not the betrayal itself, but the silence. It is the stillness of someone who knew you were vulnerable, who sensed the weight on your shoulders, yet chose not to stand up for you. The enemy in the shadows does not always attack with obvious words or visible actions. Sometimes, it is the pause, the withheld defense, the subtle sharing of a detail you once trusted them with, that opens the door to instability. Picture a strong wall protecting a sacred home. A single crack, almost invisible, can let in the draft of winter air. That is how darkness enters, not through grand destruction, but through the tiniest fissures left unguarded. In your life, Leo, this crack might have been one careless remark, a private fear shared at the wrong time, or an intimate dream that became exposed to the wrong ears. And like that cold air seeping in, it unsettles the warmth you worked so hard to build. From the perspective of psychology, the pain you feel is not about the information shared or the action taken. It is about what it represented. It meant that the person you once believed would guard your back chose silence when you needed their voice, or passivity when you needed their courage. That silence can feel louder than any words spoken against you. It shakes the foundation of trust because it reminds you that loyalty is not guaranteed, even from those closest to you. But as painful as it is, there is a deeper lesson here, and that lesson is boundaries. The universe is not asking you to close your heart, Leo, because your gift is your openness, your warmth, and your generosity. Instead, the universe is inviting you to learn discernment. Not everyone who enters your life deserves to remain. Not everyone who knows your weak spots has the right to touch them again. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out, they are gates that you control, determining who is safe to enter and who must remain outside. This is an act of self-preservation, not coldness. It is the art of loving yourself enough to ensure that your light is never dimmed by the carelessness of others. Think of this as pruning a garden. A gardener does not hate the branches he cuts away. He removes them so the tree can grow stronger and healthier. Likewise, you are not called to hate the ones who could not hold your trust, but you are called to release them, to gently let go, so your soul can flourish. This act of release is not punishment, it is protection. It ensures that your heart remains fertile soil for relationships that honor you, not exploit you. Even in everyday life, this understanding can bring clarity. If you find yourself replaying moments of silence from those you trusted, remind yourself that their silence was never a measure of your worth. It was only a reflection of their limits. If you have wondered why it hurts so deeply, it is because you gave from a place of purity, and what was returned was indifference. But you are not defined by their inability to match your loyalty. You are defined by your decision to continue standing in your truth. Boundaries are spiritual armor. They tell the universe, I value myself enough to protect my energy. And the universe responds by sending people who will honor that value. When you say no to instability, you say yes to peace. When you walk away from betrayal, you walk into freedom. Leo, this is not the end of your light, it is the refining of it. Every crack that let the darkness in is now sealed by your awareness, and your foundation grows stronger because of it. Leo, when you think of Archangel Michael, do not picture some distant figure removed from your everyday life, but rather imagine a warrior of light who has stood beside you in moments you could not explain. He is the one who carries a sword not made of steel but of illumination, cutting through lies, confusion, and the arrows of unseen hostility. When you felt hesitation right before signing a contract, when you suddenly chose to take a different path at the last possible second, when circumstances rearranged themselves to pull you out of harm's way, that was not simply chance. That was protection. That was a higher intelligence stepping in to redirect your course so that what was meant to weaken you became what strengthened your trust in the unseen. In astrology, Leo is ruled by the sun, a constant force of fire and vitality. This solar energy, when combined with the protective field of Michael, creates a shield far stronger than anything in the physical world. Your fire burns brightly, and because of that, you naturally attract both admiration and envy. But the lesson here is that you are not left alone to defend that fire. There is a partnership between your own willpower and the guardianship that surrounds you. It is as if your inner sun is encased in an unbreakable glass globe, radiating light but shielded from storms. This is why, even in your most difficult seasons, you have never fully been extinguished. Think of it as the body's own immune system. You cannot see it at work, but it fights for you every single day. Michael's energy functions the same way. You are alive, intact, and still standing not only because of your strength, but because something larger than you has fought on your behalf without you realizing it. This perspective shifts how you view your setbacks. A missed opportunity might not have been a failure it might have been Michael's intervention, closing a door that would have drained you, delaying a partnership that would have betrayed you, protecting your future by reshaping your present. From a self-help perspective, what this asks of you is simple but not easy. Trust your intuition. That knot in your stomach, that sudden sense of unease, that urge to pause when everything on the surface looks perfect, those are not irrational fears. They are your soul's alarm system, tuned to the frequency of higher guidance. The more you listen to it, the more you align with protection instead of danger. Ignoring it often leads to exhaustion, regret, or unnecessary pain. Honoring it keeps you in harmony with the flow that is already working to keep you safe. Even numerology affirms this theme. The number 7 is universally associated with spiritual protection, inner wisdom, and the reminder that you are not walking alone. If you have noticed the number 7 appearing in your Lithian clocks, receipts, addresses, it is a message that the unseen shield is present. It is a whisper that your path is guided, that the obstacles meant to break you will bend around you instead. These signs are not coincidences. They are confirmations that while enemies may plot, light has already accounted for their moves. Your role in all of this is not to live in fear of hidden attacks, but to live in awareness of constant protection. To know that you can step boldly into your purpose because the universe is already preparing the way. Just as the sun never doubts whether it will rise again tomorrow, you must never doubt that you are safeguarded. This does not mean life will be free of tests, but it does mean you are never taking them alone. The fire of Leo combined with the shield of Michael creates a resilience that no shadow can penetrate. When you embrace this truth, you stop seeing your intuition as hesitation and start seeing it as holy guidance. You stop labeling delays as failures and start honoring them as miracles in disguise. Leo, the truth that follows protection is justice, and this is where the deeper currents of universal law begin to reveal themselves. The cosmos is not blind, and energy is never wasted. When someone has gone so far as to invest resources, time, or intention into seeing you stumble, they are not only targeting you, they are entering into an agreement with consequences they cannot escape. You may see them laughing, surrounded by people, still trusted, still wearing masks of stability, but behind the curtain, the shadows they released are circling back. The mind that once plotted against you now lies awake at night, restless and uneasy. The heart that once enjoyed your downfall now feels the ache of emptiness. This is not because you wished it upon them, but because the universe always mirrors back what is sent out. Think of it like a stone thrown into a still lake. At first, the ripples travel outward, reaching far from the center. But eventually, those same ripples return to the source. The darkness cast toward you was never truly yours to carry, it was always theirs, and it will always find its way back home. In the same way that the law of gravity pulls objects back to the earth, the law of cause and effect pulls actions back to the one who initiated them. This is the rhythm of karma, a rhythm that does not miss a beat. Astrology reminds us that Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun has never had to prove its light to anyone. The sun shines, and everything else reveals itself in response. When someone tries to dim that solar brilliance, they are not dimming the sun itself, they are only creating shadows for themselves. This is why you, Leo, must remember that revenge is not your calling. Your role is to continue radiating, to continue being true to your essence, while the cosmic law takes care of what you cannot see. From the perspective of the law of attraction, the principle is simple: energy flows back to its origin. Those who send out negativity will find their lives colored by it. They may believe their actions are hidden, but life has a way of surfacing every intention, every choice, every seed sown. And those seeds grow, whether they are seeds of love or seeds of destruction. Just as a garden produces what has been planted, so too do lives bear the fruit of the intentions sown within them. This means the person who sought to harm you has essentially been cultivating their own harvest of unease, anxiety, and eventual isolation. You may wonder why you still feel the sting of their betrayal, why justice seems slow, why they appear untouched. But understand this: the universe does not rush, and balance does not operate on human schedules. The return of energy is precise, not hurried. Like the cycles of the planets, it unfolds in perfect timing. What matters is not when it happens, but that it happens. So, Leo, let this truth bring you peace. You do not need to lift a finger to retaliate. You do not need to waste your fire on anger. The justice you long for is already in motion, written into the very fabric of creation. Your task is to preserve your energy, to choose light over bitterness, to let go of the need to control the outcome. Forgiveness, in this context, does not mean excusing their actions, it means freeing yourself from carrying what was never yours. You may even begin to notice subtle signs of this law at work. Perhaps the person who once seemed untouchable begins to lose connections, perhaps opportunities slip through their hands, perhaps the joy on their face feels forced rather than genuine. These are not for you to celebrate, but for you to understand, the scales are balancing. The universe has not forgotten. The real victory is not in seeing them fall, but in watching yourself rise higher than you thought possible. You become proof that betrayal cannot extinguish light, that cruelty cannot undo courage, that envy cannot break what is divinely protected. When you carry this awareness, you walk forward unburdened, knowing that while others may deal with the weight of their choices, you are free to embrace the future with open hands. Leo, after understanding that justice belongs to the universe and protection has always been by your side, the next step is your release. This is the moment where you stop carrying the weight of what has been done to you and consciously decide to step into the freedom that has been waiting for you. The ritual I invite you into is simple, but within its simplicity lies immense power. Take a deep breath, feel the rise and fall of your chest, and place your hand over your heart. As you do this, you are grounding yourself in the center of your being. Write the words, I see the truth. I forgive. I choose to walk forward on solid ground. Then read them aloud as if you are making a vow to your soul. This is not just a sentence written on paper, it is a declaration to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer bound to the wounds of the past. It is your ticket out of heaviness, your way of handing the burdens back to where they belong, and your permission slip to live fully again. Rituals like these are not about dramatics, they are about clarity. When you engage with them, you are signaling to your subconscious mind that the cycle of pain is closing. Just as the sun sets to mark the end of one day, you are closing the chapter that no longer serves you so a new dawn can rise. This act may feel small, but it aligns your energy with release and renewal. The universe responds when you take even the smallest intentional steps. Yet release is not only symbolic. It becomes more powerful when woven into the fabric of your daily life. This is where self-help merges with spirituality in the most practical way. Start with your body, give it the rest it deserves, honor it with nourishing food, stretch and move it with kindness. Simple practices like yoga or mindful breathing reconnect you with the very vessel that carries your fire. Care for your financial stability by putting energy into clarity. Set a budget, define your priorities, and claim mastery over what flows in and out. In your work, allow yourself to be open to new directions, even if they feel uncertain. Remember that every new chapter requires courage to explore beyond what is familiar. And in love, practice vulnerability by expressing what you feel, not hiding it. To withhold your truth in relationships is to repeat the very pattern you are now leaving behind. By showing your emotions openly, you honor yourself and allow the right connections to grow. Color also becomes a language of alignment here. Surround yourself with gold, orange, and red. These are the shades of confidence, vitality, and courage. They awaken your inner flame and reinforce the solar energy that rules your sign. Wearing these colors, decorating your space with them, or even meditating on them can help you embody the energy of renewal. You are training not just your mind but your entire energetic field to remember its strength and radiance. This practice is also about community. Transformation becomes stronger when witnessed, when spoken aloud, when affirmed. This is why I encourage you to take part in an act of connection right now. Leave a comment declaring, "I have seen the truth and I choose to step forward." This is not just for me to read, it is for you to see your own words reflected back, a visible contract with your new reality. It is also a beacon to others who may be walking this same path, reminding them that they are not alone in choosing light over shadow. As you do this, notice how the energy shifts. Notice how your heart feels lighter, how your mind feels clearer, how your body feels calmer. This is the work of liberation. You are not abandoning your story, you are completing it. You are claiming the lesson and leaving behind the weight. And from this place, Leo, a new chapter begins. One where your boundaries are strong, your spirit is unshaken, and your flame burns brighter than ever. Leo, as we reach the end of this journey together, I want you to carry one truth with you. You do not need apologies to validate your pain, nor do you need anyone to confirm your worth. Your light itself is the proof, your presence is the evidence, and your resilience is the living testimony that nothing and no one can extinguish the flame within you. From the shadows, you have emerged stronger, prouder, and more awake, and your heart no longer trembles in fear. Instead, it beats with courage, with clarity, and with the certainty that you were never meant to be broken. When you look back at the moments that nearly crushed you, can you now see how each one became a stepping stone toward the person you are becoming? The betrayals that once stung so deeply are no longer chains, they are lessons, and they have shaped your wisdom. The setbacks that made you question yourself have only redirected you toward safer and more aligned paths. What if every delay you thought was failure was actually protection? And what if every ending was actually the doorway to a beginning that is more secure, more abundant, and more in tune with who you truly are? Ask yourself this now. What part of your life is asking to be released so that you can step forward lighter? What weight are you still carrying that no longer belongs to you? The universe does not want you to live bound by old pain. It wants you to move with freedom, to trust that your steps are guided, and to live with the confidence that Archangel Michael and the protective forces of creation have always been near. Imagine the relief of breathing without the heaviness, walking without the hesitation, and choosing without fear. That life is waiting for you, but it requires one simple act: you must decide to claim it. So I invite you to turn this reflection into action. Write down your affirmation, declare it out loud, and most importantly, share it in the comments below. Say something like, "I have seen the truth and I choose to walk forward," or create your own words that resonate with your soul. This isn't just about leaving a comment, it is about anchoring your transformation in reality, making a promise to yourself, and inspiring others who read your words to step into their power as well. Will you be bold enough to put your commitment into writing, to let the world know that your light is unshakable? As we close, I want to pause in gratitude. Thank you for your presence, for your energy, and for the way you've given your attention to these words. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps Eternal Mindfulness grow, not as a channel alone, but as a family of souls walking together toward the light. Your support allows us to continue sharing these transformative messages with those who need them most. And believe me, Leo, you will want to stay with us for every step, because the revelations the universe is preparing to unveil in your life are extraordinary. May the days ahead be as gentle as the spring breeze, as steady as the ancient tree, and as abundant as a heart that has laid down its burdens. You are not alone, you have never been alone, and you never will be. The universe has always been on your side, and Michael has always stood at your shoulder. Carry this with you as you move into your next chapter, and remember that your flame, your light, your truth can never be extinguished. Are you ready to step forward, to live without apology, and to shine without restraint? Then leave your affirmation below, subscribe to this channel, and share your light with the world. Because this is not the end, Leo, this is your beginning.